Welcome, you're listening to John Highman from Commercial Real Estate Online. If this is the first time that you're visiting us, particularly on this audio and video program, you can get plenty of tips and tools and ideas for commercial real estate brokerage and agency at our website, which is commercial-realestate-training.com. And indeed, this is one of the videos that we put out there for brokers and agents around the world to help them with sales, leasing and property management activity. So that's the website, commercial-realestate-training.com. Now this particular video is all about how to automate your listing processes relative to sales, leasing and or property management. Certainly you can automate your processes and improve your conversion factors relative to winning over that listing from a client. And of course today's property market is highly competitive. So let's go a bit further here and you can get some ideas from this particular chart that I'll be using. So, in commercial real estate, retail real estate, you can save a lot of time and professional effort if you automate your listing processes. And by that I mean doing the right things for the property type and the location, as well as asking the right questions of the client about the property. Of course, that then helps you understand exactly what you're doing and where you can head with the relative listing. Every property type will have specific factors that are quite unique. And the same can be said for the differences between sales, leasing and property management. So sales, leasing and property management are all quite different and unique, and you should have some form of checklist to look after the differences between sales, leasing and property management. Now you may say, why have a checklist if seemingly you know what you're doing? Well, the fact of the matter is a checklist will always help you to be very specific to the property type, to the requirements of the client. You can drill down into issues and make your questions quite meaningful and deep. That will then help you differentiate yourself from the other competing agents that are around you pitching for that same listing. So I do recommend that you use a checklist approach. And of course, over time, if you're smart, you can take your checklist and improve it as you learn extra things about your segments of the industry. So if you're a sales specialist, you can of course learn extra things that you can merge into your checklist and use the next time around with a new client and a new sales listing presentation. The same can be said for leasing and also for property management. And I did put on this chart here the other specialist fields that are quite common in our industry. Of course, that of a leasing agent working for a particular landlord. You can also be working as a buyer's agent, working for a person that wishes to purchase a property. Now, buyers today, of course, can be investors, but they can also be companies looking to acquire property to operate their business from. So buyer's agents are quite specialised, and you can be as well. And I've got a couple of other ones here, that of a seller's agent. Now that's the normal approach that we would take for a property owner today. We would be the seller's agent, and you can have a checklist to support that. And lastly, a tenant's agent, that is a tenant's advocate. You could be out there looking for a particular property for a tenant, and of course be looking for those particular properties with those improvements, with those special services and amenities that the tenant requires. And in that case, of course, the tenant will be paying your commission. And the same would be said if you are a buyer's agent. The buyer would be paying your commission. So they are very special roles. And in those roles, I would expect you to have a very good checklist to drill down on the requirements of the buyers and the tenants. And of course, going back to the other normal factor, which is that of a seller's agent. So anyway, they are the unique factors. I would expect you to have a checklist in each case relative to this particular set of groups here. So now let's look a little bit further and let's go over to a specialized checklist and show you one or give you some topics which might focus your thoughts in this particular way. So we'll go back one step. So what you can do here with all of this is to create a specialized checklist for your property type, for your skill, for your town or city. You can drill down into a particular segment of the market that you serve, and of course that will help your relevance when it comes to winning the listing for the property. So here we go. Let's take, for example, a retail shopping centre, a retail property. So here are some issues that I would ask about. So number one, the tenant mix. I would want to know about the current tenants and when the leases expire or the options are to be renewed. From that, I would like to know about permitted uses and how the clustering processes suit the placement of tenants within the property. So that is the tenant mix. By having a checklist, I can drill down into the tenant mix quite specifically and ask questions about the leases, the rent reviews, the options, the market rental, the incentives that may apply. Let's look at the next one, the vacancy factor. Vacancies will come and go from any retail property, any shopping centre from time to time. What you can do here is work well in advance to fill the vacancies before you get them. You can also use those vacancies to renovate the property or relocate other tenants within the shopping centre, understanding that some tenants will trade much better from certain locations within the property. Look at the opportunities that a vacancy will give you. So, number 3, net income. The net income for the property will be driven from the gross income and also the impacting results of expenditure. So net income comes from gross income less expenditure. Now, of course, within the expenditure category, I would be very interested to know that the outgoings for the shopping centre are within the industry standards for the property type and the location. Now, there are many different types of expenditure. Council rates and municipal rates, insurances, energy consumption, all of those things will have a big impact on the net outcome for the client, the net income. And those things, of course, will take a large slice of the expenditure structure for the property. So I would like to drill down into the net income structure, the expenditure for a property. A checklist will help me do that. Let's look at number 4, sales results. Now, sales results. In any larger retail property, there should be a sales results and MAT. That's moving annual turnover figures to watch and track. And from that, you'll soon see the tenants that are important to customer numbers and those that are not. You'll soon see those tenants that are actually very important to boost the sales, the results for the property overall. So let's look at the next one, anchor tenants. Now, you know what they are. Of course, they are the larger tenants within the property. Understand the suitability and the drawing power that the anchor tenants have to customers within the demographics and the surrounding area. Review the leases for that anchor tenant to ensure that they are doing everything required and that they can do under the terms of occupancy under their lease. Number 6, specialised tenants. Know the placement and the facts surrounding the smaller specialty tenants. Look at the individual fit-out issues and the boundaries of occupancy. Are the specialty tenants complying with their lease requirements? Of course, you'll need to look at the leases in that regard and understand exactly what they're doing and indeed what the tenants are doing within those particular conditions of lease. Number 7, customer demographic. Now, for every retail property, there should be a target, a customer target, a particular customer profile. And of course, the shopping centre should be matching that customer profile to optimise the trade for the shopping centre. Now, of course, all of your marketing efforts should be directed at that particular shopper. What you're trying to do is market the property into the demographics, increase the customer numbers, increase the sales. And through all of that, of course, comes clustering, tenancy placements, lease strategies, the anchor tenants, the specialty tenants. All of these things come together. All the more reason to have a very good checklist to relate to. So, number 8, market rentals. Now, market rentals, it really doesn't matter if you're selling or leasing a retail property. Either way, you should understand the market rentals and how they compare to the listed or inspected property. That says that you need to understand those market rentals and how they compare to the market today. Certainly, market rentals are impacted by supply and demand for space and also the inquiry for property. That will in turn be impacted by incentives, and there are a few different types of incentives out there. That's where a lot of property will evolve around the lease structure, the incentives, and the rental structure. And of course, the property itself, the value of the property, will be impacted by the lease structure and the incentives as well. So you really do need to know a lot about market rentals. The gross rents, the net rents, the passing rents, the face rents, and the effective rents. All of those rentals are different structures to look at when it comes to considering the tenancy mix and the structure of that retail property. So market rentals should be taken into account, and a checklist will help you do that. So let's go back to the beginning here. I started the whole process by talking about automating your listing processes. What I was actually saying here, just to remind you, was that every property, every requirement will be different and unique. You can be servicing your clients in any of these particular ways. They are all specialized. If you look at them for what they are, you can create specialized checklists in each case. And I did give you an example of a specialized checklist relating to shopping centre leasing. That is tenancy mix, vacancy factors, net income, sales results, anchor tenants, specialty tenants, customer demographic and market rentals. It's interesting, you know, that most agents may say that they know a lot about retail, but many of them will not be able to ask questions and talk about these issues off the top of their head in any sales or listing presentation, particularly regards to retail property. You'd think that they should be able to, but under pressure, a lot of agents and brokers forget to ask the right questions and talk about the right things. That's where your checklist helps you. So go back to my main point, automate your listing process. That's what I want you to do. Get a checklist out there that helps you with your specific property types in your town or city, and also the clients that you serve. And of course that will help you enormously when it comes to showing your skill as a property expert for what you do in your local area. So that's the end of the topic today, and of course please go to the website if you haven't already. That is commercial-realestate-training.com. At that website you can join the online newsletter, the email system that we send out, and each week we put out many tips relative to sales, leasing and property management activity. So thanks for listening to this today. This is John Highman from Commercial Real Estate Online, and of course visit the website, you'll see me there, and I look forward to catching you next time online. This is John Highman from that commercialrealestatetraining.com, signing off for now.